But it is my belief that Bitcoin is going to go to $250,000 to $500,000 within the next 12 to 24 months.
Wall Street whales and insiders have just revealed their big plans to pump the price of Bitcoin and a select few altcoins over the holidays while everybody is distracted. This is the Santa pump they don't want you to know about. Bitcoin will get to $110,000 or even $125,000 before most people realize this. You subscribe to Altcoin Daily, so once again, we're going to keep you informed and in the know on this. I have 6 altcoins to show you today. Smash the like button, send this video to one friend. Pantera Capital founder, Dan Moorhead. This man is a macro and markets expert. He's been right a lot, and he just reaffirmed his 745,000 Bitcoin price prediction. And he says Bitcoin can no longer go to zero. 50 million people in the US own it. 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. It really has reached escape velocity. So if what he says here is true, buying Bitcoin today would be an easy 8x.
I wouldn't bet my entire life savings that Bitcoin's going to go up, but it's been averaging almost doubling every year for 11 years. What if it does it one more year, right?
Would you bet your life it's not going to zero?
I used to tell people it could definitely go to zero to try and be, conservative. I don't think it's possible now. 50 million people in the U.S. own it, 300 million people globally. BlackRock and Fidelity are selling it. It really has reached escape velocity.
But you're 745,000. I mean, I heard 13 million from Michael Saylor the other day.
I think it can go. It's going up 3 orders of magnitude since we launched our fund. I think it could go up a fourth, and that puts it at 15 trillion market cap, which it still seems relatively small versus 500 trillion of financial assets. That's doable.
And this is reminiscent of Michael Saylor's thesis. If it's not going to zero, it's going to 1 million. If what Saylor says here is true, buying Bitcoin today would be an easy 11x.
I've said before, if Bitcoin's not going to zero, it's going to 1 million. The real question is it legitimate asset? If it's a legitimate institutional asset, everybody is underallocated to it.
We all know why things are different now. We all know what Trump is going to do for crypto.
If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile.
Even the Cardano founder admits that despite the fact that he thinks Cardano is superior, Bitcoin is the least risky play right now, as that's what people are buying into, and prices will be at $250,000 to $500,000 within 12 to 24 months. That's a 3 or 6x in 12 or 24 months.
As good as Ethereum can be, and Solana can be, and Cardano can be, let's be intellectually honest about this. Governments are talking about a strategic reserve of Bitcoin and Bitcoin alone. It's their entry point. And perhaps in 5 or 10 and 15 years, that dialogue and narrative will change. But it is my belief that Bitcoin is going to go to $250,000 to $500,000 within the next 12 to 24 months because of the investment inflows and the great interest that has been achieved. This will translate to an ecosystem whose value is starting to approach that of gold, an asset humans have used as a store of value for over 5,000 years. Simply put, Bitcoin is the store of value for the internet, and it will remain in that role for the foreseeable future now that it has a DeFi layer.
It's very rare we see this. Financial advisors are going on TV now, and some are saying the quiet part out loud.
I think if you don't have at least 10% of your investment account in Bitcoin or Bitcoin-related assets, you're going to fall significantly behind.
Where does it go? What's your price target for Bitcoin?
So I think in the short term, we're going to see one of two cases. The first case is we're going to have some sideways action between 110 and downwards to 80, and we'll see some chop. The second scenario, and that will come either in the short term or in the medium term, is once we have the Bitcoin Act, which is currently under consideration, passed, where the U.S. government will be buying Bitcoin into its reserves, as well as other countries and other corporates for their treasury assets as well, we could see a 500K Bitcoin or $1 million Bitcoin. The sky is really the limit here.
And why? What would drive it there?
So Bitcoin is inherently a scarce asset. You only have 21 million Bitcoins. And the Bitcoin Act, for example, proposes buying 200,000 Bitcoins a year, which would significantly drive up the price as there's a finite supply.
And how much of a portfolio do you think should be allocated to cryptocurrency at this point? And has that changed now that we have a very pro-crypto president coming into office?
Absolutely. I think if you don't have at least 10% of your investment account in Bitcoin or Bitcoin-related assets, you're going to fall significantly behind. So that is our advice at Moonwalker Capital.
Hey, make sure you download the Fold app. Buy Bitcoin here. This is the ultimate Bitcoin app. I buy so many gift cards here, and this really helps me up my Bitcoin stack. My Bitcoin stack keeps increasing because of this app. They have a direct deposit option, so you can start getting paid in Bitcoin. Download this app, you're gonna love it. Look, we all know that crypto markets are 100% manipulated by whales. You know that whales do this in crypto markets.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
He says it's a fraud.
It says he'll fire anyone that buys it. Yes.
And at the same time, his company is buying it.
His company is buying it.
It's just, so unethical.
But this is why it's important to see what they're actually doing behind the scenes. Bitcoin buying has never stopped. Bitcoin ETFs have seen no dip. Capital is flowing in, another all-time high today. Bitcoin's price will eventually have to follow. They're suppressing the price right now while their Wall Street buddies buy in. Anthony Pompliano explains why, although retail thinks that $90,000 Bitcoin is expensive and maybe I shouldn't buy it, Wall Street's thinking on this is the exact opposite.
Bitcoin in particular was a bottoms-up adoption story. So historically, technologies are top-down. Governments and militaries adopt it first, then corporations, and eventually individuals. Here, you actually had individuals first. The reason why that's important is Bitcoin is the only asset that I know of in financial markets. As the price goes up, it becomes less risky. And so now you have the biggest pools of capital showing up and saying it now is only big enough where I can start to buy it. And so you have central banks, you have public pension funds, et cetera, that are saying, okay, now we're getting close to $2 trillion. I can start allocating to this thing. And so individuals front ran it, but the largest pools of capital still are heavily under allocated to this asset. I think it's going to be very good for price movement.
So don't wait until Bitcoin gets over 110K or 125K. Here are 6 altcoins I would be looking at. Ethereum. Most people know Donald Trump likes Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's price is almost $100,000 because of it. Do people realize that Donald Trump actually owns millions of dollars worth of Ethereum and actually probably owns more Ethereum than Bitcoin? What happens when the world realizes this? If you're looking for a more low-cap play, Humans AI and their Heart token is one I'd look at. This is the future of AI in crypto, or at least something like this. I'm an investor in Humans, and I'm an investor in Supra. If you're looking for the next Solana, a lot of people say Sui. I would actually say if you're looking for the next Solana and you're looking for the next Sui, check out Supra. They're just about to go through their TGE, their token generation event. This is the first all-in-one multi-VM layer 1 built for super dApps. I like it. It's new. I think it has a lot of upside. And it's not to be confused with Super Token, which I also like. Super Token is uniting Web3 gaming. Injective is still a favorite of mine, the fastest blockchain for finance, incubated by Binance and powered by their Injective token. And then for our last token, which you need to get on your radar, I actually want to open this up to the audience. We have a lot of smart people in the Altcoin Daily audience. What is the 6th coin you think is obvious in crypto in the short and midterm? Comment one coin below. Whichever coin gets commented the most, or actually gets the most upvotes as well in the comments, will win. We can try and include them in a future video. It'll be interesting to see. Subscribe to Altcoin Daily, join the team, see you tomorrow.